Hey guys. Okay, so I'm redoing part two of the negotiation, the evolution, and talk about negotiating strategic. The reason I'm redoing it over is because I really want to get more technical into this to give you some examples for singles out there who are really trying to try to find the right person and make it work. Okay, so let me outline the board real fast and then we'll get into some examples. All right, cool. All right. So like I said, everybody, when I say everybody, but in context, their roles, and I like to use the lion and lioness to say that there are defining roles. You do not need to take away your independence of who you are as a man or a woman. You don't have to take that away. It's just how do we work that out? Your independence to the relationship. Okay. So in context, what I was saying is, in social media in today's time, there's men who are single. Hey, Alice, how you doing? That has multiple friends, and then likewise, women have multiple friends. But when it comes to relationship, why do they have all these friends? Are they, the relationship in context? What are they looking for? They're looking for a one-on-one position. All right. So we have to go into strategic and negotiations to find one. All right. What is negotiation, strategically negotiating? It's me as a man, I want and I have needs. And you as a woman, you have wants and needs. We need to come together without losing our independence. And that's the key. How do we come together without losing our independence? These are just something very simple. We're going to go over this. I'll let you see it, but we're going to go over this offline. Preparing and planning definitions of ground rules, clarification, justification, bargaining, and problem solving, and closure and implementations. All right, so let's reverse back over here. Okay, so here's a thought. Let me get a picture real fast. Here's a thought. I got this picture. Oh, I don't want to tear that. That is torn. And we'll work this out. Let me see if I can work this out. Oh, here, cool. So, if, for an example, if this lady here, I just met it and talked to her. Okay, let's just say her, me and her, we're talking now. We're going to have basic conversations. What do you do? What do I do? Okay, fine. We're going to lay that out. Let me pause you right there. Why do we do that? I'm going to find out what she does. She's going to find out what I do. Why? Because in her mind, in my mind, I have an idea of where I want to be, where I want to go. And so if I'm asking her, say, hey, what do you do? What do I do? We're trying to find information out from each other. We're just simply trying to see if there is a term of negotiation, quite honestly. I'm trying to see if you're even qualified to even start the conversation that we need to negotiate. Right. So typically a person will say in talking on the phone, talking on social media and say, hey, I like you. You like me? Cool. All right. What do you do? What do I do? All right, fine. How long you been doing that? Okay, fine. I'm learning about you and I'm learning about longevity. Okay. So we're looking time. We're talking about time. We're talking about the profession. Why? Because financial. So we're talking about sexuality because do you have kids? Do I have kids? Do we want kids? And moving forward and so on and so forth, right? So all of this, we're actually setting it up. Now, old school. Old school, the parents were in charge. Why? Because the parents already knew who the kids were in personality, in ethics, in all of those arenas, right? Parents know their kids. And in old school way of thinking, the parents were negotiating on behalf of the child to another parent, the bride and groom. But sometimes, somewhere down through the evolution of all things, that stopped. In some cases, not all, not 100%, but in all cases, some cases, all cases. The individual people, we, me, you, we don't need our parents to decide who I want to be with. But in context, a lot of people have used the entertainment world, the romance of it all, and to say that this is what I want. I want romance. I want love. I want this beautiful thing. In reality, is far from it a lot of times. You might, in a month's time, you might like me for probably a week, and 3 of those other weeks you probably hate my guts, right? Because that's reality. Even at your job, you have some good days. At your job, you have some bad days. So what do we do when I talk about strategic? We're trying to find the best quality in a person. So we do the introduction first. All right, so let's just simply say, for an example, let's say that she and I was talking for a little while, and we come to a point where we're now trying to get to that next level of understanding. I really like you. Okay, she really likes me. Now what? Preparation is what we did. Now it's planning. What are we planning? We're planning on talking about tomorrow. See, in dating process, the first part is planning. The second part is, preparation. The second part is planning. We need to talk about future stuff. For example, if I have a young lady, the thought process of having kids, well, everyone may have assumed that I may not want kids, but no, in our planning of talking this out, the planning part of it, we talked about it, and yes, we want kids. Okay, fine. We want this, we want that. I want my own business. I want my business. I want to do this and I want to do that. All of that is planning. In context, in negotiations, strategically, you want to write all this stuff down. What is it that you want? What is it that I want? How do we want what we want? We need to write that down. Why do we need to write that down? Because when we first start this process of planning, we're only starting it off. There's going to be a lot of rearranging within this discussion. So write it down as a baseline. This is what we talk about. This is what I want. This is what you want. This is a start of the planning. Next, definition. The next part is definition of ground rules. The ground rules is very simple. It doesn't have to be too complex, but the ground rules, it can be a little dicey there. Simply put, if me and her was talking, all right, I know and she knows we have multiple friends out there. What are the ground rules to those friends? We have to set a ground rules so we can continue moving forward. If we don't come to an agreement to those rules, we might simply stop moving forward. And do we want to stop moving forward? No, we kind of like each other, so we want to move forward. So in strategic negotiations, we're going to see if we can come to an agreement, and that is negotiations. So if we define the ground rules of that situation, those situations, the rule is that we need to wait, we need to build, we need to get permission. Those rules are all there. Defining those rules is what you really need to write down. Write it all down. Okay. Second or third step. One step is the first, preparation and planning. Second, definition and ground rules. Third step. Okay, third step. Clarification and justification. Clarify. Did you say you want to have kids now, or did you say you want to have kids but you didn't put a timeline, so we're going to have kids in the next year or 2 years? Clarify. That's what we're clarifying. We know already by the definition and the planning we want to have kids. Okay, that's great. We need to clarify this thing. So do we want to have kids now or not? See, this is clarification. Justification. Am I justified in saying I want kids now, Or will I be more justified if I say I want kids later? In definition, meaning this. If I have a pool of money stored up somewhere, I can say my justification of having kids now is justified because I have a pool of money, so we will not be in financial difficulties. Or my pool of money may not be there, and there's no justification of us having kids now. So that's where clarification and justification comes in. Now, when you have that understanding, then you want to continuously write that down. Bargaining and problem solving. All of that is we're going to, hey, if you do this, I do this. If you finish your school, when you finish your school, we're going to do this. Or, hey, I got this business lined up, and when this kick off, this is what's going to happen. And if it doesn't kick off, this is what's going to happen. So we're bargaining and problem solving this situation. So we're talking within ourselves, meaning her and I are talking amongst ourselves. We're bargaining. We're trying to figure out, and hey, if I get pregnant now, what then? Okay, well, we bargain, we problem solve. That's the next stage. Then closure and implementation. Closure is we've come to an understanding. We want to be with each other. We have goals in our own lives. We agree that we can get married, maybe not now, but it's justified for next year. We want to have kids. It is justified that if you get pregnant now, fine, and if not, that's even better. But we're justified of the marriage, we're justified of the relationship and marriage, kids, and we're justified all over there. So closure. Is there anything else that we need to talk about that will affect us between now and 5 years? Of course. But keep this in mind. Every time something changes or new, you have to go back through that whole process. Implementation. Implementation is simple. This is an agreement between you and I of what we talked about. In some cultures, they will actually have a written out agreement called marriage license. Some cultures do that, really, seriously, no joke. They actually write down what we talked about, the bargaining, the problem solving, all of that. They've actually wrote it down, and sometimes in context, problem implementation could be in the line of payment, or sometimes it's in the line of just simple, we're marrying you. That is negotiating a person between you and I, not you and I, but just negotiating a relationship where there's no misunderstanding. There is no emotion behind it except what I want and what you want. There's passion behind that, but there's no misunderstanding. As long as we write it all down from preparation, planning, definition of the ground rules, clarification and justification, bargaining, problem solving, and closure and implementation. If you follow those guidelines, you will be very surprised on how those people you're spending your time and your money, you will find very quickly those people you need to get rid of because they're not even quality people. So stop wasting your time with non-quality people. Those quality people that you find quality, those are the ones that you need to go through negotiations, but you need to be very strategic in it. Okay? So the reason I'm giving this to you is because we're wasting a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of emotion, a lot of finances, a lot of wasting time trying to find the right person to be in our life. And if you do it the right way, you can filter through all that mess. Now, in context, let's keep it straight. If you negotiate very well, you will find the right quality person that you're with. From the looks, from the personality, from the finances, sexuality, from all of the areas that you've negotiated. Through the process, you will find the right fit for you. Okay, in doing so, sometimes the emotion is not there. Now, in context, this is why biblically in Titus, all you who believe in the Bible context, the Bible in Titus, it says, older women teach the younger women how to love their husbands and their children. Strategic planning, all of that can be so straightforward. Sometimes the emotion is not there to the point where, you may not love that person. Will that be okay? Take a chance in saying this. Do you want to wait on someone to love, or do you want a person that you can rely on? If you wait on somebody that you can love, I guarantee you, in that getting together, you're going to get your heart broken. Why? Because not every day we feel love for one another. Okay? Not every day am I going to feel love for that woman. No. Some days I'm going to be very frustrated, not at her for her, but because I had a bad day at work. And I had a bad day here, and I had a bad day, and she had a bad day, and we all have bad days. But, strategically, she and I is the best fit. We talked about it, we worked it out, and we are the best fit. Is it perfect? No. Is it something that we can do to help better ourselves in finding the right person? Absolutely. So, take it from me. Don't take it from me. If you're looking for a way to filter through all those people, negotiate. This is Dr. Bagley. Thank you very much for joining me. I will talk to you later. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please do not hesitate and let me know, and offline. And if not, we'll go from there. Until next time, have a great one. This is Friday on our time. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.